Honestly, I never thought about leaving the two wheels. I will try to race with motorbike as long as I can, and then in the future maybe I will open a bar instead of racing again.
Hello and welcome to Speed with Harvick and Buxton.
Let's talk racing.
Welcome to Speed with Harvick and Buxton, fueled by Poet.
Let's talk racing, Will. I'm excited for this one.
We certainly are, mate. And we're delighted to welcome somebody to the show who we've been talking about all year. We've been watching and enjoying massively watching him race and dominate this year. It is the one and only Marco Bezzecchi. Marco, complimenti, grandi complimenti for the season so far. What a way to start the year in MotoGP. How much are you enjoying it? And what is the secret to your success?
Hello, guys. Thanks for having me. It's a big pleasure. I'm having fun, of course. It's been a good start of the season, a good end of last year as well. So very, very happy till now. No secrets at all. I mean, just a lot of effort from me and from the whole team and the whole factory Noale. So just giving everything every race.
Well, you've gone through the first three races of the season with three wins, and I know before I got on a few rolls like that when I was racing. It was always fun to watch the team and their motivation to be able to try to keep that streak rolling. I know for you as a rider, you're there every week. Like I gotta prepare the best that I can. What's it like when you get on a roll like this for a MotoGP team and rider like yourself who's had so much success to be able to stay motivated, not only yourself but the whole team? What's the team like right now as far as continuing to push forward?
Well, the team is really working hard to try to keep the motivation always super high. I'm making the same. At the end, I try to arrive to the races in the best way possible, train well at home, find a good stability at home to be always good prepared, and the team does the same. At the end, we all race for the same target. We all want to try to be strong and make good races. So the only way to do it is try to always give our best. My character is always quite motivated, so it's good to find that I found also a group of people that are working with me that are also super motivated. So this can only improve everything.
When you look at this season and the amazing start that you've had, how much of this has been down to not just the preparation that you put into this year, but the work that's come leading up to this? Because MotoGP now is such a technical sport. The rate of development, the level of complexity that you have on the bikes now, it feels so far removed from MotoGP, even of 5-10 years ago. How important is that team that you have around you, and all of that preparation that you've done to get you to this point with them?
Well, it's for sure very, very, very important. I mean, we started our adventure together last year, and immediately we noticed that the potential was good, but the bike still was not at the level that is right now. So we started working all together to try to make everything a little bit better, and also myself as a rider, because at the end I needed to adapt to the bike. I wasn't riding in the best way possible at the beginning, so I think it was a combination between the two. So the factory for sure improved a lot the bike and bring us many developments that were super positive, and I also tried to improve my riding and try always to give everything every session and try to look at every detail to try to be riding in the best way possible. I think this combination makes a big improvement during the races, and has to be like this till the end. So we need to keep working, because as soon as you stop, then you immediately go down. So we need to always keep our mentality in the same way.
As you go through all the development and all the things that happen, you've got regulation changes being talked about for 2027. I'm obviously a little bit of a novice at this, but in the NASCAR world, the driver has a lot of input on the direction of the car. As you go into these changes for 27, how much input will you guys have from the rider's standpoint on what that bike looks like? Obviously, it's a different power plant that you'll have on the bike. How much input will the riders have going forward to try to not get in a position like F1 has with their cars and the technical regulations this year?
Well, at the end, the only thing that we can do is try to give our feedback in the best way possible. Of course, the regulation is already fixed, so we have to adapt to it, and I'm sure that will be a very good change. Will be super interesting to try the new bike and to see how it will be with all these changes. Also, the engine will be different. And what we can do is try to give our feedback in the best way possible to try to immediately start in a good way with the bike and with everything together with the team, because at the end, working on a new bike is always different. So we will have to work all together as always, but at the end, this is what we will do.
Do you anticipate the riding style being very different next year? And given how phenomenal you are on this generation of bike and how brilliant this season has started for you, do you think that it you will have to change the way in which you ride with this new generation of bike in 27 from what you're seeing and what you're hearing about it?
Well, at the end, for sure, we will have to adapt a little bit, because at the end, also a small change have a consequence on the riding. So for sure, we will have to adapt a little bit, especially because we will change tires. So this is I think the biggest difference in terms of riding. At the end, we are used to the Michelin from many years, and we will move to Pirelli. That is, of course, both tires are fantastic, but anyway are different. So we will need to adapt. But also a smaller engine will take a bit of time to understand very well how to ride it in braking, in acceleration, how it feels under the bike, this engine. So for sure, the riding will change a bit, but at the end will be the same for everyone. So it's a matter of try to adapt quickly and try to work and try to find a base setting quite soon. But it's difficult to say it now because it's very early.
Yeah, and there's so much changing for you guys as well, isn't there? Because it's an aero regulation change, as you say. The tires are changing, the engines are changing. Which of those three facets do you think will have the biggest impact? Not necessarily on lap time or on competitiveness. I'm just thinking purely in riding style. As you say, the tires are going to be critical, but is it going to be power delivery? Is it going to be aero? Is it going to be or is it, like all these things, is it a combination of all three?
Well, power delivery, I think no, because we are used to have a lot of power on the bike, and at the end, for sure, will be powerful a lot, but we can try to handle this. I think the biggest difference maybe will be the tires, because it's really what give us the feedback from the bike. We feel a lot how the tire is working on the tarmac and on the track, on the bumps and everything. So I think this will be the main difference. But of course, I think it's a combination between all the changes, and it's very difficult to predict which one will be the most difficult. I think the tires, but at the end, also the aero make another step. So we will see. I don't know.
Yeah, when Ricky Carmichael was a great friend of mine, and the thing that always motorcycle racing for me, I raced in a cage in a car, and when you made a mistake, you crashed and you got out, and you guys crash and fall off the bike and slide through the sand traps and across the asphalt. When you get on this bike, what's the process of finding that grip level as you go into something new like that? I mean, just from a mental standpoint, I never can wrap my arms around, knowing that I got to find the edge, but I know when I find the edge, I'm going to fall off and slide across the ground and tumble. And so what's that process for a rider like to get used to something that is new? And second part of that question, when do you get to ride that bike for the first time?
Allora, at the end, to find the limit, there are many different ways to reach the same result. I mean, of course, you will fall sometimes because it's normal, it's part of the process. At the end, you try to reach the limit step by step, especially on testing, because it's very important to ride and to make laps. So you try step by step to make a little bit more always, and then lap by lap, you get more information from what you are trying, from the bike, from the tires and everything. So at the end, only with this, maybe in this way is the best way that you can try to do. But at the end, I don't really know. This is maybe how I do. So yeah, I think I'm trying to make in this way. But the others, I don't know.
Marco, when we look at this season, a big change for MotoGP recently, obviously, was the acquisition by Liberty Media. What changes have you seen on the ground? I mean, I remember seeing it firsthand in Formula One, and the sort of the immediate positive steps that they took with the championship. What have you seen on the MotoGP side from Liberty?
Well, I have to say that they are also trying to make some good changes. I think the level of the championship is growing a lot. We are reaching new countries. We are reaching a lot of new fans, and this is very important for the championship and for us as riders. Of course, still is the beginning, so I think that this will continue changing, will continue growing. But honestly, I'm happy and I'm enthusiastic to see what will happen. Of course, already Dorna did a wonderful job till now, but I think that together they can make everything even better.
One of the big stories earlier this year was the loss of Phillip Island on the schedule, and bringing in the Adelaide street race. What are your thoughts on MotoGP racing on the streets of Adelaide, and I guess at the same time MotoGP losing one of its classic circuits and one of you guys, like, one of the favorite circuits in the world in Phillip Island?
Yeah, of course is a pity to don't go in Phillip Island anymore. Of course, as you said, is a wonderful track, is an historical one, and it's very, very beautiful to ride. But at the end, it's also super cool to reach new cities, and we will go to Adelaide. That looks fantastic. Of course, racing in the city with the bikes will not be easy, and I'm sure that they will organize everything in the best way possible to maintain and to keep the safety as the first target. But yeah, will be cool. I mean, we will try to make a last dance in Phillip Island in the best way possible, and then we will try to go in Adelaide and make a good first dance.
Cool.
So you raced at COTA, the last event that you guys had. What's your opinion of that racetrack, and what's the biggest difference for you as a rider and team, MotoGP in general, when you come to the US to have your race?
Well, COTA is a wonderful track. It's very unique because of the corners that you have in this track is very particular. The first part, especially with this super long chicane, but also the hard brakings are amazing, and the vibe is unbelievable. I mean, when we come to the US, it's always amazing. And now that the years goes on and the people get more into MotoGP, the support that we receive is fantastic. We have fans from all over the United States, also South America, and it's fantastic. The track is very beautiful, of course, is super complete with all the kind of corners that you can have in a motorbike tracks, because at the end you have hard brakings, long corners, chicanes, fast corners. So it's very, very beautiful. And for me, of course, this year was even better because I was able to make a very good race. So I wish I could race in the same way all the countries.
Is there a circuit that you wish was on the calendar that isn't, or even just like a country or a city that you'd love to go and race in?
Well, yeah, honestly, Shanghai was a track that MotoGP used to race some years ago, but the track looks fantastic. I never had the possibility to ride there, and I wish I will try it. But of course, seeing Kimi winning there with the Formula One, I would love also to ride there.
Love that. Love that. Love
When
that.
you-
Do you
when-
do you keep an eye on Formula One a lot? And I guess sort of with that in mind, is there any championship, any other type of racing that you'd like to do beyond MotoGP? I remember back in the day, I remember Valentino testing in the Ferrari and all the talk of, was Valentino going to move to Ferrari? Could he possibly go and race Formula One? And there was such a buzz. I'm sure you remember it too. Like, there was such a buzz around it. Would you ever consider moving off two wheels and doing a John Surtees and coming and racing on four?
Of course, we are Italian, so we love Ferrari, obviously, but now we have huge talent and he's Italian as well. So I'm very proud to be able to follow his way in Formula One. But honestly, I never thought about leaving the two wheels. I really it's the only thing I can do going on the motorbike. All the rest I'm a disaster. So honestly, I love motorbikes, all the kind of bikes, and I will try to race with motorbikes as long as I can, and then in the future maybe I will open a bar instead of racing again.
Supercross? Would you come and do Supercross?
I went to see Supercross, not in US. I saw Supercross in Italy. That was also super cool. I would love to go to the US to see. I met Jet Lawrence, but I also met Barsha and Musken and Sexton a couple of years ago. I have his jersey as well. So I would love to go to see a race from them. It's amazing the show that they do. We follow always the races from home, but it's not easy with the difference of timing. But anyway, I will go soon from live.
Would you do the Dakar?
I follow also the Dakar because my dad is very passionate from trucks. He's a mechanic, and of course I love to watch the Dakar as well. I know Petrucci that went there and won one race, so it's super nice. Also the Dakar.
So what do you do outside for fun? When you're not training and you're not riding the bike, what do you enjoy to do? Do you have a hobby? Do you do anything else that you have a good time at?
Well, I have a dog. I love to spend time with my dog, going working everywhere in the enjoy the nature. Fortunately, I live in a very, very nice place in Italy, and we have a lot of countries and a lot of places that we can go there and just enjoy. And of course, I love to stay with my family, my friends. I have not a lot of time to see them, so when I can, when I am at home, I love to spend some time with them. I like to play basketball. I'm not super high, super tall, but um, I like to play with my friends, and basically this just a normal life, nothing crazy.
What do you think drivers would struggle with the most on a transition to two wheels? And what do you think riders would struggle with the most on a transition to four?
Oh dear, it's very difficult to answer to this. At the end, the difference between the riding style in 4 wheels and in 2 wheels is huge. First of all, we move a lot outside the bike, and the drivers in Formula One, they sit there. But I think that also to reach the corner speed that the Formula One drivers have for a MotoGP rider is insane. We can't even think about going so fast in a corner. So at the end, both riding styles have huge and different characteristic. So probably will be super tough to adapt for a MotoGP rider to a Formula One, but also the opposite. So could be fantastic to make a track day with Formula One and MotoGP all together, trying to give us some advices. But I think with the schedule that we have, is very difficult.
I think
we need to swap. We need you to do the Mercedes. We need to get Bez in the Mercedes and Kimi Antonelli onto Bez's bike. Let's do that. Let's pitch that now. Let's get that done.
No way, Will. There's no possible way. Four-wheel guys are not. They're not brave enough. They're not brave enough. That's why I asked in the beginning.
Lewis and Valentino did it. Lewis jumped on the bike. Valentino jumped in the Mercedes, and they had to say, "Let's get Bez in the F1 car."
Four-wheel guys are just, all we worry about is how we're going to crash, and they worry about nothing. They don't worry about crashing. You heard him talk about it earlier. I'm not worried about crashing. I fall off. That's just part of it. Not for me.
It's different. Yeah. It's different.
Yeah, that's for sure.
They're made different, man. They're made different.
Yeah, it's quite different, but also at the end, hit the wall at the speed that sometimes they hit the wall is impressive for us. So at the end, I think it's complicated from both sides, but I would love to try maybe one day just for fun the car. But I never thought about racing with the cars. I love too much motorbikes.
We love that. We love that. Bez, we're going to have to let you go in a minute, man. But just want to finish this off by asking you, you've had such a brilliant start to the season and everything's going so great. How do you continue this run now? Do you have to approach every weekend almost as something unique and individual and approach it on its own? Or are you looking already at the season as a whole and thinking about the championship and how you have to approach the season now as one continuously long sort of beast on itself?
As it is a unique race, so it's so early in the championship. That is, I think, useless to think already about the championship. At the end, is not my main target. Of course, I would love one day to be able to win one, of course, or more. Is my dream. But my mentality at the end right now is try to give my best every race we can, try to be competitive every race we can, together with my team, and then more forward during the championship. If we are still in the position to fight, we will maybe change our target. But at the moment, it's not the time to already sit and think too much. We just have to enjoy. We just have to put our effort all the time. Next one is Jared. So in Jared, we will try to make the same.
We are loving watching your season and we are loving watching you race. We appreciate your time so much. Thank you for coming on. And, from Kevin and me, all of our best for the rest of the season. We will be watching with great interest and wishing you nothing but the best of luck. Thanks so much for being on the show.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. It was a big pleasure for me to meet you, and hopefully we can meet by person very soon.
I'd love that.
Thank you.
I'd love that.
Yes.
Grazie.
Grazie. Ciao.
Ciao.